12th annual competition. And so I'm really excited. This year is going to be a little bit different, but we're excited about the new opportunities that we're able to provide for you throughout the build season. And so that comes because we have some great team members, and also because we have folks that have participated in First Nations launch throughout the years, and now they have come back and are either part of the admin team, serving as mentors, or just have heard about the program and want to be a part of it. So with that being said, I am going to go around and let the rest of the team introduce themselves so that you do know who everybody is. And so we'll start with Danielle.
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Weiland. I am new to Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium and First Nations Launch. I'm the project coordinator. My background is physics and math. I did a lot of research in like microgravity, but I never did rocketry before this. So I'm happy to say I'm level 1 certified now after building my own rocket. So I'll hand it off to Connie.
Hi everyone, I'm Connie Engberg and I'm the project support assistant, and I will be happy to help you with reimbursements and other questions that you might have about your applications. And even if you have questions about who to talk to, you can contact me. Good to see you, and it'd be nice to get to know you over the year.
I believe we also have Mark Epitaswe on as well. Mark, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, as soon as I figure out how to work this mute button. Hi everyone, Mark Epitaswe, former alumni of the program. I was a team lead at the University of Minnesota team back in the 2nd annual competition. Currently a project assistant. I'm the advisor liaison, so I don't know if there's any advisors on. I think Scott's on. Hey Scott. So yeah, just providing advisor support, especially for the new advisors. Any new advisors have questions about the program, what's expected in the reports, any engineering content, reach out to me. I am Ojibwe First Nation from Manitoulin Island, Canada.
And Mark, since Aaron is your protege and you have groomed him so well for his position, would you mind introducing him?
Well, and then I think our presenter today will be Aaron Ashley, who's replacing myself, my role in previous years as the project assistant, supporting the students on the technical side. Yeah, I'll throw it to Aaron. He can describe his role at Raytheon.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Hey guys, so I'm Aaron Ashley. I'm also an FNL alumni. I was on the 2018 team from Sioux Boulder. I'm aerospace engineering background, and I'm currently a systems engineer at Raytheon Technologies in Tucson, Arizona. I'm the project assistant working with Mark, and as he said, primarily we'll be dealing with technical aspects and reports and scoring that stuff. Like, you guys will be submitting your reports to me, and I'll be coordinating the judges' feedback for you guys, stuff like that. And I am Omaha and Crow Creek Sioux from Nebraska and South Dakota. And without further ado, the purpose of today will be to give you guys an idea of what to expect in the competition proposals that we'll be wanting from you guys. And they're for all the teams that have submitted an NOI, so you guys, and whether you're a student, mentor, advisor, you guys could all use this information. And what we're assuming right now are some of these that I know some of you guys are still actively recruiting some of your students. You've been talking with your team members. maybe some rocketry experience, or you know who your NAR Tripoli mentor is or not, and have at least seen RockSim, whether or not you've bought it yet or downloaded it yet. And if you'd like to follow along, these slides will basically be one-to-one with the competition proposal template on the website at that link. So if you guys would like to follow along with that, you can. So next. So at this phase of the competition, it's right after you guys submitted your NOIs. So that's where we are right now. And the handbook kind of reflects what we expect in the proposal and what we will be preparing for the kind of the next phase in January, the preliminary design review, and what we set up in this proposal phase will be basically the baseline for the next 3 design reviews. So like all the sections we set up with that. And then, so if there's any of these baseline items that we talk about in the template in these slides that you don't have right now, it'll be more difficult later. That's basically what we mean by there. And the overall purpose is kind of to let us know, us meeting the Wisconsin Space Grant admin team, know your team's, the people on your team, kind of facilities. So that's what we mean by capabilities, and what reasonable expectations are. So the first general section, if you guys are on the template, is the general info section. This is like 1 page with a bunch of bullets, but this communicates to us what your capabilities are. So like your school name, advisor, mentor names, or co-advisor if you have one, team lead, team members, as many as you know right now, and then help from us that you can expect or ask for is selecting a Tripoli or professional mentor if you need. And the facilities, equipment description will just give us an idea of what you guys are working with so we can properly advise and have a background for what your design proposal is what you guys are all working with. And then the RockSim simulation software that we're requiring this year, that once you guys get familiar with that, you can put some preliminary designs from that software that you've played around with of what you're thinking of how to attack this year's Moon Challenge proposal, screenshots or anything from RockSim. And then next section, safety. This is more like Tripoli rocketry stuff, but there's some things you guys need to both think about and fill out to make sure we're complying with all the high power rocketry standards, and that you guys have a mentor with either NAR, National Association of Rocketry, or Tripoli. And then First Nations launches COVID-19 safety plan. There's just a bullet in the proposal template that we have you acknowledge if you have a local launch site, or if you've identified that, or we can help identify that. And then other details regarding the COVID-19 changes for this year. So this one is where more of the primary portion of your information will go. So at this stage of the competition, you guys can start reviewing the challenge requirements if you haven't already, and the low power rocket will be in the next few months whenever we get that out, and basically stuff to familiarize you guys if you've never worked with high power rockets before. And then it'll make the foundation of how you're going to attack the competition challenge this year. So the last few bullets there, like selecting a kit if you choose to go that, or scratch build based on individual parts, and then challenge solutions, and then, or if you're going to use part of the kit to accomplish those challenges. So just stuff like that. And it's okay to have multiple options right now. Like later proposals or later design reviews will be where you narrow those options down, but this is still very much a brainstorming stage, but communicating what the results of your initial brainstorm is. And then next section is so these are kind of explaining your thought process of each of those brainstormed ideas. So like the dimensions of the rocket, like are you trying to go for a level 1 motor or level 2 motor? Actually, that's the third bullet, but that dictates the size and how big diameter and length that your rock simulation will dictate that to get to the altitude of 3,500 to 4,000 feet this year, and how fast you want your rocket to come down for the recovery system. And if you want to do dual deployment, do you want to do a streamer or a drogue chute for the top, and then how big a main parachute, stuff like that. And yeah, the motor, as I mentioned before, and how you're thinking of approaching the moon challenge this year. And then also, as you're reading through the handbook, the requirements, just keep those in mind. Make sure you're following all of those. And then next is the project plan. This is based on planning that we do in the engineering industry field, timelines, like when are we gonna do this report, when are we gonna do the next report. If you've ever heard of a Gantt chart format, like laying out when all those things are gonna happen, we suggest going through the process of creating one of those, because if you go into the engineering field, you'll be using those. And budgets and funding, the budget's more what you think at this stage you'll need to procure in order to build your rocket and challenge solution, and then where you think your funding is going to come from. If you think you need more funding than the 4,000 that FNL gives you, where is that coming from? Telling us that. And then sustainability, that's more like a future problem, but I thought it was worth mentioning in the proposal. But that's more like, will you be able to have future teams? Like, do you have people who aren't graduating this year, that sort of thing? Like more like personnel turnover, that sort of thing. And I believe that's it. I'll open it up to any questions you guys have. put it on the overview slide.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
As a first-time faculty advisor, I'm just curious, what are the major costs for the budgeting? Is it the actual rocket material, or is it mostly the travel to Wisconsin for the launch? And I guess that depends on where you are in the country. But yeah, given the COVID situation, I guess there's uncertainty with respect to whether or not we'll be traveling as well. So how do we take that into account for budgeting?
Sure. So you will have expenses for your rocket, and it really depends on the extent of the build for your team specifically. I have some teams that their expenses are less than 1,000, and there's other teams that may go up to more than 2,000. So it really depends upon your build, and we don't limit the amount of money that you spend on the rocket, on the any of the components, etc. So for travel, and those are things that you do need to build into your budget, and almost a consideration of two different ways. So if we end up competing in Wisconsin, then you would need to consider your flight expenses, some of your meal expenses. We do cover a good portion of your meals. You'll have your breakfast covered on Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. You'll have lunch covered Friday and Saturday, and you'll have dinner covered on Saturday night. So you really, if you guys come in on Thursday night and you leave Monday morning, or Sunday afternoon, you'd be responsible for Thursday night meals, Friday night meals, and then Sunday/Monday, what's not covered at the hotel. You would also need to consider shipping, because there are expenses for shipping your rocket to the hotel in Kenosha, and you need to ship it to and from Kenosha, so both ways. If we end up going virtual, you still need to consider travel and that's why in your proposal you need to identify what is the nearest launch site, so that when you identify that, you can then figure out what is your the mileage reimbursement that you would need. If you need hotels, we're assuming that if you do need a hotel, there's a very strong possibility you're going to have separate hotel rooms for students, so they're not in the same hotel. And you may need to take more vehicles to be socially distanced, things like that. So you almost need to build two different travel budgets, just to give yourselves an idea of what it will cost. I think I thought of everything. Team, feel free to chime in if you think of anything else.
Are you guys able to see the example I just put up on the screen?
No, we're still seeing the PowerPoint presentation.
Yep.
Let me fix that. How about now?
Yep.
This is I'll just show you how I got here. This is from the FNL website. This is that link in the presentation. That proposal is up here, but if we scroll down, we have some examples from previous years. The UCLA team from 3 years ago was kind enough to let us post their reports. And then when you go to their
once you're done, Aaron, I'm going to show another one. It's a little bit more extensive. So if you could let me share my screen.
Yes, I'm stopping sharing.
Perfection. Okay, so in Wisconsin, we run several different rocket programs. We have a statewide rocket program. We also have another one for the Midwest. It's a regional one. But if you look on my example, what you'll see is that this example goes through what are the costs associated with my body frame construction, my payload design, what about avionics, the motor and propulsion, so things like the motor mount tube and rail buttons, recovery, what were some general materials and supplies that I might need. So, we have found over the years that some schools don't have a drill. And so that is something that they need to have on hand, because nobody has that. And they purchase a drill to kind of build their toolbox for the rocket construction. They may need a Dremel. So, some of those things can be included as well. And then you're looking also at your travel expenses. So you're thinking about airfare, your baggage fees, your shipping fees, your rental car, your mileage, any tolls and parking that you might have. If you are coming to Wisconsin, we cover 3 days, right? We cover Thursday through, what is it, Connie? I need your help. It's 3 rooms per team. And I believe it's Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
Right, they arrive on Thursday. So Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday is correct. 3 rooms.
And so this more detailed budget is available on the tools and tips page. Let me see what I am sharing. Okay, let me switch my screens real quick and I will show you tools and tips just so that you are aware. And so it is on tools and tips. And then under FNL resources, it is proposed budget example. Okay. That help answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. These resources are going to be extremely useful for us. So we really appreciate it all.
And if I could, that detailed one that Christine just showed you, you submit a budget at each report. So for the proposal, we're not expecting a detailed budget like you just saw. That would come at one of the later reports, such as the critical design or the flight readiness. So for proposal, just a high level, a couple of items. I'd probably say in my experience, travel is the most expensive item, then followed by the rocket. And then depending what school, tools, right? So if your school's capable, has facilities, then you don't need to worry about budgeting for that. But some schools don't have very much as far as the technical capability. They have to bake that into their budget.
We definitely have workshops on campus, but I guess there's going to be some complication because of the pandemic with access to everything. So this is something we're going to have to figure out, but we should be able to find a way to work around it. It'll be difficult to work in teams, certainly, but we should be able to have student access to that facilities.
Christine, I don't know if it's a question, but more of just letting you know information. I was looking at going to a launch this weekend that Professor Wingley was doing over in Eastern Washington, and I let my job know about it, and they said they couldn't endorse my travel because of COVID. That if I chose to go, I was on my own time. So my concern is that if we're still in this restricted travel and stuff, how much liability do we then take on ourselves to go to your launch site versus before? Yeah, my school has me covered because I'm traveling for business in a sense, but now they're saying if I go, it's my own choice.
That's a fair question, and it's not something that I have been asked yet. So, as we have consistently said, we're all concerned about COVID, and our number one priority is keeping you safe, keeping our team safe, keeping the students safe. And so, you are representing your institution. So you will, as we state, you need to follow your state guidelines, your institution guidelines. And so that becomes the priority. And so we'll, as we get closer, and if that becomes an obstacle for your team, we'll address it and try and figure out the best way for your team to move forward. And we know that we might have to make some of those. We need to be very flexible in the 2021 competition, just to be able to, our number one, we want everybody to have a really good experience, right? And we know it's a competition, and our hope is that we're going to be able to have that competition to its fullest. But in saying that also, I still, we don't know what April will look like at this point. And so part of this is we still want teams to have a really positive experience building a rocket. And it may mean that we hold off launching a rocket in Washington until it is safe for you to do so.
Okay, yeah, because I'd have to work with Professor Wingley as to where his rocket launch sites is at, and then how we handle that. Because again, they're saying if I do something like that, it's on my own time, because they can't endorse any travel. And then if we do get to the point where we got a team when we're heading to Wisconsin, or maybe we're not, that there will be a hybrid model that for some teams that can't travel, that they would still be able to hopefully launch in their home site.
Yep. So that is the, very likely may happen. I mean, is the way it's looking right now, is that we're going to probably have to move at some point to a hybrid. My hope is, though, I still hold out, right, as long as I can, that we're going to be able to travel to Wisconsin and have a great launch. But yes, we will have hybrid options, and there may be some who do not have travel restrictions that can come to Wisconsin, and there's others who may not, and that but can launch in their home areas. So we are working with you, the advisors, to try and figure out what's going to work best for you this year in the midst of a pandemic. Okay, does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a quick one. I read through the student handbook and I noticed that, all the file upload selections were up already in our application. The one I didn't really see that clear instructions on were the accepting one, the very first one that's due.
So just to be honest, I am working on getting your award letters out. They were supposed to go out today. And I have been set back a little bit. So my hope is that they go out tomorrow, and they will not be due until probably the 20th or the 21st. I'll try to give you guys 2 weeks time to get those returned back in, and that will be the date. And then each one of you will be given in your award letter, you're assigned an award number. And so let's just say, and I don't know off the top of my head, let's say your FNL 21, all of your award letters will start with that acronym underscore, and then you may be 1.0. And so, and it really goes basically on alphabet order, if I'm not mistaken. And so if you are FNL 21 underscore 1.0, that is the number that you will use to secure any of your TARC RockSim software licenses.
Okay, I see. Thank you. I was just kind of confused. I was like, I know it's due, but I didn't know what to turn in.
Yep, you're good. So you will have, and I don't.
It's due on Monday, November 23rd.
Okay, there you go. Let me just look real quick to see if I can give you guys an example. I just have to pull it up in my drive real quick. Of last year's, I do not, like I said, I don't have this year's completed.
And just so everyone's clear, because teams have made this mistake in the past, there's a template for the proposal. So please go on the website, find the proposal template, and it's just plug and chug. Basically, it asks you for a certain amount of information. So do the research, do your homework. A lot of resources on the website to look at, and come up with your own team development and turn in those proposals to us.
To answer your question, thank you, Mark. To answer your question, am I still making sure am I on mute or can you guys hear me? Sorry, you can hear me, thank you. You should be able to see my screen now. And so the award acceptance will look very similar. The formatting's changed a little bit for 2021, but this will be very similar to what the document that you will need to sign. And then, so the advisor and the team lead will need to sign the award acceptance material. And then all of the due dates and different things will be listed in the award letter. Okay. And then Mark, you said, what did you just say? I was going to share
Just
that
reminding
as well.
them to use,
Proposals,
just reminding them to use the templates, because in the past teams have either just misplaced or weren't aware that there was a template, and they've gone off and written their own kind of proposal, which just didn't sync with what we were looking for, didn't provide us the information we wanted. So be clear and use the templates.
Sure. And so under Space Grant, I'm going to go back just so you know too, we did just make a recent change on the website. So First Nations Launch Now is really easy to find. It's on the homepage. So I'm going to take you right through the very beginning. If you ever need to get back to the beginning, you just click on the NASA WSGC. On the top line, you'll see First Nations Launch. And so the main content of the program is found on this page. But then on the left-hand side, you will see different pages that are affiliated with First Nations Launch. So as tools and tips, which we've referred to several times, is the very first tab. The other one that you will use quite a bit, as Mark referenced, is the report templates and scoring rubric. And so each one of these design report templates is linked, and competition proposal, as Mark said, is highlighted there. And I'm waiting for it to pop open for you. Let me bring it back over. And I do believe Aaron already showed this, if I'm not mistaken, but it is the design for it. And so, making sure that whoops, it disappeared on me. Sorry about that. Making sure that as you are filling it out, that you're putting in your school name, you're getting rid of this space, and you're updating it with your school name, your date, and the same thing on these pages. Put in your school name, mailing address, team name, etc. If you don't have a co-advisor, that's fine. Leave that area blank. Erase the input right here, which would be like that, and just leave it blank or put an NA. But there are teams that do have two advisors. Any other questions? And it does look like Danielle has been putting links in. Thank you very much. Appreciate our team so much. If there are no further questions, I am going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's meeting. Connie, do you want to just let us know when the next webinar is and who will be doing that?
Sure. Okay, let's see. The next one is on the 16th, which is next Monday, and it's a project management webinar.
Excellent. And the host for that is Orson John. Orson John is an engineer out at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, and he has been a judge with us for a few years. He's level 1 rocket certified as well. And he's looking forward to hosting the next webinar. So, with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to myself. You can reach out to Danielle, to Connie, to Mark, to Aaron. We're all here, and Frank, who couldn't be with us tonight. And we are all here to help you make it to the launch pad and have a successful year. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.